guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Sean Diddy Combs, the streets are saying you still think you in charge running stuff in jail. The only problem is it looks like the feds have their eye on you, and baby, we love to see it. First of all, I want to give a shout out to my girl Monica for sending this article over. I put my ear to the street and we have some interesting information. Oh, and also quick shout out to Valerie Renee and also Sherry Couture. Thank you so much. Okay, here it goes, right? The article is saying Diddy still think he's in charge, even behind bars. It's the same arrogance, just with concrete walls. Now, you guys already know he got busted for drinking. We also know that he got busted for making an illegal phone call, a three-way phone call, not having people on the list, asking his lawyer or not lawyer, it don't matter. Gina dressed up in a lawyer uniform. I don't actually know. He said it was a family member. Is Gina his family? Okay, maybe it wasn't Gina. The whole point of this matter is, okay, and this is the important thing. So we all know all that stuff happened, okay? But did you know that Yahoo News is reporting that he's said to have smuggled in unauthorized devices to monitor his business empire from behind bars and allegedly has access to a phone outside of what is permitted by the facility? Again, these privileges possibly came from either well-connected inmates, he did want that bag of money, right? Or compromised staff members who are reportedly giving him special treatment. They said he knows how to work the system. He acts like it's a luxury rehab and not a federal official. However, listen, they're saying that he received warnings from officials in the facility because of his behavior since arriving. However, Diddy appears to have ignored it, and one source noted that he laughed it off. They said he's Diddy. He's used to power. Okay? And power is hard to surrender. He's not rehabilitating. He's reinventing the hustle from inside. One more source added. Okay? Here's the thing, and I want to make this very, very, very clear. Okay? Diddy should be very careful right now. He won't be. Don't worry. He won't be, but he should be. All right? So let me just tell you what I've been hearing. Diddy is surrounded by people, and they seem to be fawning all over him. But one thing I know is you never go against the House. And the House is the U.S. Attorney's Office. And I would expect the U.S. Attorney's Office to still be keeping a very, very close eye on this person. Because there's a lot of stuff, I would imagine, that they couldn't bring up at the trial, that they didn't have time to investigate. You know, Mark Agnifilo rushed that trial ahead. But hear me out. A lot of people that are sucking up to Diddy right now, that Diddy thinks is his audience, his minions, his whatever, baby, they are also trying to get their sentences shortened. They are also trying to make sure that they can see their kids and their wives and their girlfriends or their boyfriends, whatever the case may be. They also want to get out as soon as possible. And maybe I'm wrong, but one of the ways to get out as soon as possible is to sing like a canary over every single thing Diddy is doing. Now, if Diddy's doing nothing wrong, then he has nothing to worry about, right? Right. If Diddy's doing nothing wrong, he has nothing to worry about. Nothing at all, right? However, people are saying that one of the reasons they knew he was drinking alcohol, one of the reasons they knew about the money, one of the reasons they knew about the thing and is because the people that he is so busy trying to power trip and impress, they got his number and they are just trying to say what they can and give all his business. And if that can equal them going home early, they don't give a hoo-ha, hoo-ha, moi. Also, second thing I've been hearing, right? Diddy started out according to TMZ, on laundry duty, which is a low-level job, but it's a job that you would expect people to have when they first enter the prison. Diddy somehow, and his lawyer bragged about, not his lawyer, I'm sorry, his PR person bragged about the fact that he is now an assistant to the chaplain. And they even said in the press release that it's a very prestigious job because Diddy needs us to know that he ain't a regular ninja. He ain't like us ninjas. He's special. And he went out of his way to be like, oh no, they told us in a press release, it's a very prestigious job. Okay? Diddy gets to, hold on, let me pull this up. You know what? Let me read this to you again because you're going to get a key. His publicist, Judah, said, he not to be confused with Judas. He said, he works in a chapel library where he describes the environment as warm, respectful, and rewarding. What makes the assignment especially desirable, this is Diddy bragging in public because his ego didn't want us to think that he was washing little dirty drawers and socks. But listen, it blew up in his face because now they're saying that the feds are on him, and so is the prison bureau. But you'll see why. What makes this assignment especially desirable is that it has prestige within the prison, a former commissioner said. It allows the inmate to work in a private office, often with air conditioning, and chaplains frequently bring in food for religious services, which can be shared with the assistant. The corrections office, so you know how Diddy has that, I think Dawn even said, he has like this weird obsession with food, the way he made everybody work 1,000,000 hours, but he was the only one that could eat. I think Dawn said that, Little Rod said that, a few people said that. But listen, I'm getting to the point. Let me just get through this, right? They also say a corrections officer who worked in federal prisons for more than 20 years told CBS News the chapel is one of the only places where inmates can congregate freely. Chaplains can also allow their assistants to prepare a call-out list, which tells officers which inmates are allowed to leave their cell to go to programs or medical appointments. Assistants could add their connections or friends to the list. Now, listen, why is that so important? Because he's so big on bragging and he couldn't let it go. And he's so big on bragging, he wanted to let us know, oh, he's running things in jail. You just got off a RICO trial, which you were found not guilty for. And you're setting up, I mean, if I was just a guessing person, you're setting up some organization in prison where you are at power. I would suspect, and this is how Diddy's ego is going to do him in, if I was a betting woman, I would bet, and hear me out, I would bet that he got promoted from laundry to chaplain. Now, he went from the bottom job to a highly prestigious, coveted job. No other inmate wanted it? Maybe. He also was caught on the phone asking someone that was rumored to be a lawyer. He either said it was a lawyer family. It doesn't matter. At CBS News he said it was a lawyer. Diddy's spokesperson said it was a family member. It doesn't matter. You ask him to bring you a bag full of cash. And we don't know if that's the first time. This is just a time when they randomly monitor his calls. So you're jumping up into very prestigious positions out the blue. You're establishing power where now you can call and you can give favors, add people to the list, put them on programs, bring them out. You can do all this stuff. You can make inmates. You establish an organization where you hold the keys to power. I don't think the federal government likes that. And I think whoever is doing you favors to help you move up, because they're not doing it just because you were assigned to something according to TMZ and now you moved up. See, here's the thing about ego being the first thing. I would imagine, if I had to guess, that the federal government is keeping a very, very close eye on not just Diddy, but also the people that are helping him move around. Whoever or whatever he needs to give the bags of cash to. Whoever or whatever are okaying him being put into cushy positions, cushy jobs. All this thing that it seems like his money and power might be buying. But that would be impossible, right? Because money and power aren't supposed to have any sort of influence in a federal prison. I mean, it's not like Diddy begged to be put in Fort Dix because his little hood rat friends, his little criminal friends, has connections in Fort Dix, right? And those connections in Fort Dix is what helping him. And your money and connections are being used to pay off PO officers, are used to being paid off chaplains. It's used to being paid off inmates so you can establish another organization. No, I'm not saying he's doing that. I'm just saying let's have a hypothetical statement. And let's have a hypothetical world where a disgraced person is sent to jail and they have money and power, but they're seeing. But all these things that you're doing to show off to the people you need to show off to in jail because you can't stand being like everybody else. You have to be above. You're Diddy. You ain't letting us go. I mean, at the end of the day, if they're watching you, already you've only been there. You were there for 3 days and your prison sentence from those actions in those 3 days got extended 30 days. I don't even think you've been in there for 10 business days. And all of a sudden. So I would say, and this is great for Diddy, we don't know if it's true or not, that if the feds are watching you and you're engaging in behavior that is illegal, and you're engaging in paying off, buying off PO officers, this, that, and the third, which is illegal, to get cushy jobs so you can still be in power because your friends are, and your connections, that's why you wanted to go to Fort Dix. Well, I would imagine if something was going on, the federal government's watching it. And the federal government is just sitting, keeping track. So when they can jump in and grab you and make sure that they can add more charges on top of it, or at the very least, extend the time. Now, I will say, I don't think anybody in Fort Dix is being bought off. I don't think that Diddy used his money, power, influence, or anything in a paper bag. I just think he asked that person to bring money in a paper bag because they ran out of toilet paper. And he's so rich, that's what he wipes his butt with, right? Because if it is anything nefarious, and if there is a network in the federal prison, and if you are using your power and influence to get favors in any which way, the federal government is watching. And it's not even the federal government. Seems like there's a lot of people in the borough prisons that don't like your attitude, and they're not going to bow down. Again, you guys, we'll see how this plays off, but we haven't even had Diddy in Fort Dix for 10 business days, and he's already gotten extended for a month. Again, we'll see what happens. But if I was Diddy, I would try to sit down and be humble, but we know that's not going to happen. So I'll see you for the next mess up. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.